Hello and welcome to Connected. I'm Divya Gopalan. For some, chasing their dreams is a lifelong journey. For others, life gets in the way of dreams. We bring you stories of those who blazed their own trails, some starting their journeys at the kitchen stove, with others at a gaming console. We begin with a social worker who took his love of cooking for friends and family to MasterChef Australia. The competition put Brendan Peng's life on a completely different trajectory and propelled him to celebrity status. Our reporter Izzy Wells found out firsthand the talent needed to tantalize taste buds.
So Brendan, what are we going to be cooking today?
So today we're going to make a Mauritian fish curry with a homemade flatbread roti. I chose this dish because it's a bit of a special one, so it represents where my family are from, which is Mauritius. But I was born in Australia, and then coming here, this is something that I cook often when I miss home, so it reminds me of my family. And then also I love seafood, so fish curry.
So you were on MasterChef twice, you now have 3 cookbooks.
Yes.
You've got a big following on social media. Did you always dream about being a cook or a chef?
So I didn't always dream of being a cook because I didn't think or realize that it was a profession that I could pursue. So I think for me growing up, it was very much go to school, get good grades, go to university, and then go on to study a degree that kind of made sense with traditionally would make like a lot of money, or like a doctor, a lawyer, an architect, which is what I studied initially at university. So yeah, cooking for me was not something that I thought I could pursue. It's something I thought of, it was just a part of life. Like I love cooking, I have to eat anyway. My family love cooking. Where we come from is quite like it's a big part of what we do. So yeah. Yeah,
we'll get more onto that later about your kind of family influences. So when you went to uni, you applied for architecture,
yes,
as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And then after a couple of years, what happened? What changed?
Yeah, I remember, I think 2.5 years into my 3-year bachelor's degree, I realized that it wasn't for me and I wanted to change. So I went on to study social work and got a degree in that.
And then after graduating, you worked in child protection?
So I basically, in my last year of social work, you have to do a placement, like a work placement. And I did that up in northern Western Australia, in an Aboriginal community, and then they offered me a job in child protection.
Oh, nice.
So I went back. I'm just going to add some spices to that really quickly whilst you're doing that. So we cooked off like the onion, garlic and ginger.
It's smelling good.
It smells good, doesn't it? Yeah. Wait till I add the spices in, it's going to smell even better.
You were working in social work, and then at that point of your life, you'd had that change from architecture. Were you satisfied then with what you were doing?
I think I was working in social work child protection in most countries are run by a government agency, so there was a lot of paperwork I found. I wasn't actually getting out there, I wasn't being creative in what I was doing. So I found I was actually behind a computer screen a lot, and not really enjoying it, to be honest. Okay, I think let's add some tomato into that. All right, there we go. Let me give that a stir. We're natural.
It's like, do you want to take charge?
Do you want me to mix it a bit? Yeah. Okay.
So it wasn't quite what you thought it was going to be. There were aspects you weren't as enjoying as much. You applied for MasterChef then.
Yes, I did.
Some people might, find maybe a new job, new role. Why did you decide to apply for MasterChef?
The opportunity to go onto MasterChef came out because some casting agents went around in Perth, and my friend at the time was working in a cafe, so they go around and ask people that are like in food but not actually chefs, because you've got to be an amateur. And I remember she rang me up and was like, I think you'd be really great at this, like we all know you love cooking. I used to always entertain and cook for friends.
Thousands of applicants, you made it down to the final 24.
Yes,
when you got that news, what were you feeling?
Yeah, so I got on, I think there was 10,000 people that had applied in 2018. And I applied online, I then got in to the top 24. Yeah.
Amazing.
Which kind of changed my life. I had to quit my job.
Yeah. Was that an easy decision for you to make?
I think that is like quite a big decision to make. But I was kind of young and like thinking I've got nothing to lose really. Like if I want to come back to social work, I can.
Right.
But like let's give this a crack and see how we go. So that's what I did. I kind of just went for it.
I know there was something before you went on MasterChef Australia that you felt you had to come out to your mum.
Oh yes, yeah.
And why did you feel like you had to do that then before you went
absolutely.
on this journey?
No, I'm happy to speak about this. It's I think MasterChef for me like represented something a bit bigger than like just my career. It was like me kind of growing up and taking back control of my life, I guess, or really being me. So like I left my job for child protection. But a lot of people don't know like the production process for MasterChef in Australia is that you go on and you leave for 6 months, and they take your phone off you.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no internet, so there's no contact to the outside world.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's very tough. One second, I'm just gonna put this in. There we go.
It was a big deal,
Yeah.
and what it felt for you, from my understanding, it felt like it was something really important for you to.
Yeah, I guess it was like
out.
a life-changing, I was about to go on this life-changing experience. I could be away from my family for 6 months, which I had never done before, without contact from them, like not just be in another city filming, but no phones, no internet. And I was about to turn 25, so I was like, wow, I feel like this is my opportunity to really come into my own and like basically come out to my parents. So I was in the car with my mum on the way to the airport. She was about to drop me off to go to MasterChef. I basically told her in the car on the way there, I had a little cry, and she was like, I kind of already knew, but like I wanted you to tell me, which was quite sweet. And then I was like, okay, I'm going now. I'm not gonna have my phone. Can you tell the rest of the family?
For me.
Yeah, so that happened, but it's honestly the combination of that and then leaving my job to pursue something that was very different to like what I'd ever done before. It kind of like instilled this kind of like, you could say not energy, but like just confidence in me to do different things in life and like be okay with challenging what I'm way used to in life, like having to go to school, to university.
I mean, it must have been a big relief, and then you kind of can then go on this big experience. You've got that off your chest, and you're ready to tackle MasterChef. And was this a very life-changing moment for you after the show?
Yeah, it's very life-changing. I mean, I didn't have to go back to social work, so I came off. I eventually, about 6 months later, started my own dumpling business called Bumplings. I was posting heaps of photos of like different dumpling recipes. And then I slowly became known as the dumpling guy, which is quite funny. So I kind of just like, I think what I enjoyed a lot about the process was branding and marketing. And then I had a lot of fun creating my own brand or business called Bumplings. So it was like Brendan's Dumplings.
I like it.
And we did like our first, I did a pop-up. I remember doing a pop-up in Perth, in Fremantle, where I'm from. The first night we sold 10,000 dumplings.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot of dumplings.
In like 2.5 hours,
no
which
way.
was, insane.
That's crazy. Okay.
So the curry is nearly there. As you can see, it's a very, very easy
looking
recipe.
Very good. So was cooking a big part of your childhood?
Cooking was a big part of my childhood. Eating was probably a bigger part. A big part of it was like being around the kitchen with my grandmother, my gourmet that we call her, like in Creole in Mauritius, and making things from actually making dough from scratch and making noodles, making flatbreads, making like dumplings, like wontons. I might get you to help at something. Okay. So we're gonna make some flatbread. I've already made some dough. So this was a big part of growing up, was like bread, so flour and water, and that's it. So I like to just put it between two bits of baking paper, and then if you just want to roll it out until it basically is like a piece of bread or like a roti. And that's it really. I'll get
one
the pan
hand.
on. Or like two hands if you want. But I often like roll it around.
Pro tip, one hand.
Yeah, you can go like back and forth.
Maybe the non-pro has to go 2 hands. So you have 3 cookbooks. And two of the cookbooks, well, one of them's called This is a Book About Noodles, right?
Yes.
This is a book about dumplings.
Yep.
So I had a question about if, for the rest of your life, you can only choose one, noodles or dumplings, what would it be?
I think dumplings. I think
Dumplings.
it has to, yeah. I mean, my favorite cuisine or like food to eat is dim sum with like yum cha. So because you can have so many different types and different fillings as well, I think it's quite versatile.
And your latest cookbook,
Yes.
This is a book about street food.
Yes.
It does feature quite a few Taiwanese dishes.
It does.
How did you go about selecting which dishes you choose? I saw there was a beef noodles,
The beef noodles,
the sticky rice rolls.
the sticky
So
like
is it-
fantuan. What else have I put in there? Like guabao. A few different Taiwanese dishes. But basically, I have been spending a lot of time here in Taiwan the past year and a half. Close to 2 years now, actually. It's gone so quick. Wow.
Time goes fast.
I know. And traveling throughout Asia. So I wanted to kind of use the opportunity to share street food, which is like a type of food that I've loved so much here. And I think what I love so much about it is that it is simple. Like a lot of the street food vendors are families that have been perfecting these recipes for years. Do you want me to take over? Yeah. Let's turn this on. You can flip it.
Oh no.
I can see you rolling and being like, let's switch.
I was trying.
Okay.
We're in the age of social media. There's a lot of content creators.
Yes,
and yourself
yeah.
are a food content creator.
I
You've got
am.
over 800k followers
Yeah.
on Instagram and you're on TikTok. Very impressive. Do you think we should redefine what a chef is now? Because I know before you've said you don't call yourself a chef, you call yourself
No,
a
I
cook.
don't. I call myself a cook because to be a chef, and I know back in Australia as well, there is like a lot of work that goes into studying the trade and getting that qualification or certificate, I guess. I cook, so I call myself a cook, and I don't think it's that important as well. So I think for me, it's about the passion and the creativity at the end of the day. Yeah.
And what do you think social media means for the cooking space and moving forward?
Oh,
do you
yeah.
think it's a positive development?
I think so, absolutely. I mean, for me, a big part of social media is like sharing recipes from Taiwan to people in Australia, and it takes literally like no time to post a recipe, and to have that person, honestly, like so many people recreate my recipes the next day or like the week after, and I'm like, wow, like how cool is that they're like recreating the recipes that I've just tried in the night markets. You
went on MasterChef, you're on this
Yes.
TV show twice.
Yeah.
You are also a food content creator. You're also
Yes.
putting yourself online. You're putting yourself out there. But you've
Yes.
also spoken about how you're quite an introverted person. How does that work?
I mean, you can be an extrovert, introvert, right? You can like your time to yourself, but then also spend my time out like socially quite wisely, I'd say. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah.
Did it take courage to kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone?
Absolutely. I mean, I think my whole journey up until now, especially career-wise, has kind of impacted like my own personal journey. So I think for me, like studying architecture and then changing to social work, which is like a social profession, even though I'm introverted, and then leaving that and being like, I'm gonna go on TV, even though I'm more of a quiet, introverted person. All of those like steps along the way have, I think, given me the confidence to be able to do things, but in my own way, which I think is such an important part of what I do. And I love sharing that with everyone out there, because I think a lot of kids out there or younger people think like, I can't do that, like I'm really shy. So yeah.
Because you've got to take the leap.
Exactly.
So what advice do you have for someone who wants to pursue their dreams or change their path like you did, but is afraid to?
Okay, the advice that I would give, I mean, it's such a loaded question because there is so much to it. I think in the first instance, the biggest thing with taking a risk is like, it's quite scary. So what I would say to someone is that, I mean, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't pay off. So there's always other things to go back to. But then the other part of that is, I know I've changed careers, different career paths. I've taken big risks going on things like MasterChef. But I would also say to be not so much calculated, but like do your research, spend some time thinking about it, asking questions, like talk to family, talk to friends. And at the end of the day, like I think for you as a person, like you know yourself best. So go for it and pursue your dream.
Great tips.
All right, I think we're ready to plate it up. Should we get into it?
I'm just gonna.
You're gonna go for it? Okay. You cooked curry before?
That is good. That is good. Very tasty. Thank you so much.
I mean, I made it.
Yeah, it was going to be good. I had high expectations.
It's not too spicy either, which is nice.
No, it's really good.
Did you reckon you could go back and make that?
I could attempt. So thank you for such a delicious meal, Brendan. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me and for eating my food.